work where we don't have to include those guys in the set as well. So we're going in this direction, and I see a hand raise.
So Farrell's over here on the computer. No big deal. Gibbs not here. I get to keep my 72s.
72 stay with you.
You do, yeah.
That's exciting because I was collecting a lot of them. I'm like, something's up. They're just giving me some pretty, like, early in those solos, man, when your team's only 72, and Todd in there, like, it was working for me.
Yeah. And that's what, kind of what the feedback was. Not just for me. I think some other guys felt the same when we were playing through it. And so you're still going to have that opportunity to, it sounds like what we're going to do is at level 30, have a set where you, like, okay, well, if you feel like you have gotten to that point where, all right, I'm done with these 72s. Get them out of my item binder. Cool, here's a set for you. We're going to give you some coins for exchanging those out. But we wanted to kind of push that a little bit later on into the experience.
That's great. I mean, I think because when you start out, you have a very low overall team. It kind of helps you kind of round out that team. Players that we see here are Juju Smith. We got Marshawn Lattimore, Tyron, Greg Olson, Matt Ryan. So we wanted to show you guys some of their ratings that you'll see right here. They are 85 overalls. They are NAT. So just a heads up there. Make sure that you choose wisely which player item you're going to
choose wisely, but when it comes to power-ups, it'll work a little bit like last year's campaign. You're not going to be blocked on progress from any of those guys. We are intentionally designing the content so that you can choose one of them. So later on, if you do find yourself in a Marshawn Lattimore power-up and you're like, well, I took Matt Ryan instead, you're still going to have the option to use training to bypass that instead. So you're not blocked there, but it's definitely an opportunity to go ahead and give your team a shot in the arm with one of those 85s.
That's cool. It's kind of like the theme builder progression, where you only can pick. You can grind through 10 of them, but you're not blocked in getting all those other player items. You can use training, or you can have used that theme builder that you went ahead and had. So so that's that on Ultimate Trainers.
Tell about Origin Access.
All right, so right up here. So for those people that are new on PC, EA Origin Access. I want to highlight right here. It's starting July 25th. Make sure to go ahead and read the information. The teams, at the end of the day, to be honest with you, everything starts on July 25th. Maybe it might come early. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, we want our players to go ahead and play, Madden and Madden Ultimate Team and franchise. But one thing you got to keep in mind is, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that everything that goes out is just solid, so that our players don't have any issues. If you're on EA Access PS4, right now you can go ahead and sign up for it on PS4. I think there's like a website you can go to. I want to say it's EA-Access.
Click the link below. There's a link below.
There you go. Click
Very
the link
easy.
below. I'm
PC,
trying to remember the URL
PS4.
because on Twitter I was getting so many questions about EA Access. I'm like, click, copy, paste, kind of thing. But hey, you know what? You don't need me to copy and paste. You can go down below and you can go ahead and click on that link. PS4 and Xbox. Yeah, there you go. Someone created an EA Access command.
I would say even if you already have it, click the link anyway, because why not? Like, it'll give you something to do. Do it.
If
PS4,
you're bored, spam
give it a try.
MBD or click the link, all that kind of stuff. So great stuff. So we talked about we've talked about introduction to MUT, EA Access, MUT levels. We've talked about Ultimate Trainers. Now let's talk about MUT dedication. So MUT dedication is kind of like that place where you kind of complete the daily, weekly, and monthly missions. Let's walk through some of these screens that we have right here. We're going to talk about probably each of these sections. So, Charles, take us through. And Jake, I'll let you kind of talk through this.
Perfect.
Taken ahead of time. But right here you get this screenshot that says, hey, guess what? Your content is ready. You click on this and you're boom, right into Madden Ultimate Team. So we're going to walk you through all this stuff. And again, just a heads up, guys, these images were captured last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even some over the weekend and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and walk through, high-level walkthrough through all the tabs that you're going to see in Madden Ultimate Team for the first time. So first up, we got Juju, the man himself. We got the missions tab. So we'll talk through the missions tab right here. Jake, what do I see?
Yeah, so I mean, what we call each of those on the left-hand side are different campaigns. And, as you can see here, this is when it looks like, look in the top right, this is when you're at level 20 when you took this screenshot. So when you first come into Ultimate Team, it's just going to be that Welcome to Ultimate Team campaign. And as you go through there are different missions. One of them is, Juju wants you to play with his Ultimate Team. So you go in there, we do that lineup override for you. You get in there, a couple really quick experiences. And one of the things that, players aren't not going to have to wait very long at all to get their hands on is that play next challenge button, right? So you're going to get in there. I believe the first one is just get 5 yards. We want to just, get it off nice and easy for you. Just a single star. We haven't really introduced that concept of stars to the users at that point. So go through there, get your 5 yards, boom, next challenge. go score a touchdown. And then from there, you're kind of on your way. And as you can see here, you're going to start earning these, what we're calling ultimate trainers. These are a series of players that as you're playing through kind of what we internally call this new user flow, is, some of these, there are 72 overalls, and you should start to accumulate a bunch of those, start to round out a little bit of that roster as you move on. Cool. I can totally see that I blew past this, so I appreciate
I'm not going fast enough. We're working through this. There's a lot of screens.
How many screens did you load into the system? Like over 100?
Got a couple hundred screens to go through here. It's Farrell's, been on the computer. Gibbs never lets me sit over here when he's in the building, but obviously it's a key moment, so he's left. I'm doing my best here, and we got a lot to show you. I feel like we're going to do a great job. That one there, though's on me, but let's get back to it.
All right, so like you were saying, you had the first objective, kind of, your first ultimate challenge. It says gain 5 yards, and just to recap what you were saying, you're going to be able to get these ultimate trainers, kind of round out that team, 72 overall. So you're here. Here's an example of one of them. What's next that we have up here, Farrells? Okay. All right. So this is the next tab, which is the play tab.
Got it.
Right. So what I did right here was I actually went ahead and marked in a red box just squads, because there's certain things, like as we walk through this, and you guys will see screenshots where I'm at level 1, where I was taking some of these pictures kind of like in a test environment, and then I was taking pictures on a prod environment. At level 1, squads was locked, right? So I'm assuming this year, kind of like last year, we're gating players entering certain modes, correct?
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit with how the locking happens. I think for squads, that's one that we're able to show here kind of on the main menu view. I think if you were to dive into each one of these at this particular moment and actually get to where, again, what we call the event level, all those would really kind of still be in that lock state. So again, at level 1, you really kind of are on rails to go into that Juju challenge and kind of get you going. And once you get to level 3, that's when we start to open up a little bit more of those, versus CPU experiences. I'm going to do my best to go the whole stream without saying the word solo. We'll see if I make it.
All right, let's see.
But I think it's by there you unlock a few of these as you go along. But I think in general, once you get to 10, all the modes have opened up for you,
awesome.
Similar to last year.
Cool, and we'll call that out later as we walk through the MUT levels. But great point here. Just really wanted to highlight, you got your missions tab that's going to walk you through everything to kind of, it's actually very intuitive, and it's actually really nice to go through that step by step. I found it kind of a very nice user flow. And then on the play screen, a lot of these are locked until you kind of get to those MUT levels to kind of gate you and walk you through where you need to go. Here's an example of the store. The store is back, of course, where you'll be able to go ahead and see your auctions and trades, unopened packs, get more packs. Mm-hmm. And then next,
shout out to the rooster, we call it, on the unopened packs on the previous screen.
Okay, you want to go back real quick here? So is it the little 0?
Yeah, a little 0 right there. You don't have anything right now, but when you do, something that might catch your eye and just like, oh, okay, I forgot I had something in there.
There you go. So next, let's take a look at the team tab. So right here, you're able to adjust your lineup. You got your item binder, sets, settings. You can rename your team. Typical what's there. I went ahead, I just wanted to show the community my team right now. So we'll walk through some of those players real quick in the lineup. It's, a lot of this was just from grinding over the weekend. I got very lucky. I pulled an 83 Aaron Rodgers out of one of my packs, so I was pretty excited.
Let's go.
So, and then I got Tariq Cohen as well. I pulled a Brandon Cooks out of one of my packs as well, which was great, because he has that unique coin value, and I know there's some updates you probably want to give up on that, and we'll talk a little bit as we get further onto the stream. But here is my defense. Then we'll go to special teams. Now, one thing I noticed, like my team on special teams was already kind of preloaded with some player items. Like I had like a kicker, and a punter and all that kind of stuff. Does that already come like ahead of time when you kind of log in for the first time?
Yeah. When you come in and we sort of like generate that starting, that base team for you in the background.
Okay, and then here's the specialist screen. With all these things, has anything changed from last year to this year on how we kind of architected some of these screens? Any positions removed? I mean, it's kind of a loaded question, but I do know that there were some things, so we don't have to cover it all, but maybe you want to talk about maybe anything that comes to the top of your mind.
The only thing that really comes to mind is over on the right-hand side of the screen, and I think we're going to get into it a little bit later on, maybe towards the end of the stream when we talk about, the power-ups and how abilities work. And so like the main thing that we'll call out for you sort of probably later on in the stream is, you're going to need to be in the lineup screen to activate those players and actually take them in the game. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But as far as, positions removed or any sort of big changes like that, and unless I'm forgetting something, there's nothing too noteworthy.
No, I wanted to bring it up because it just seemed very clean. Kind of, granted, it's brand new. I think also when you look at the far right-hand side, I think the way the menu structure has been laid out is a little bit different. So that's kind of what caught me off guard when I first saw it. But it was great because when I tab over, I'm able to see all that kind of stuff.
I would agree. I thought that it was very focused on your lineup, but then when you go over, it pops right out, and you're able to kind of see everything. So yeah, having the smaller icons, I was like, oh, because I know that they're always trying to simplify and make it easier for folks coming in. So that was something that definitely caught my eye. But once you go over there, everything comes right out, and it's like, I know where I am.
That's a good call. Yeah, it all shifts out once you bring the focus over there to the right. Even with things like generate best or change what active lineup you have, those are now specific button callouts over there on the right. Again, some things that our UX team felt was going to make the game more accessible, and we were excited to implement those changes.
That was cool because I noticed also like in team strategy and team visuals, there's like a little tooltip on the bottom that said these items are optional, these items are required. So kind of really helping players understand where do they need to get involved, where they need to get engaged to go ahead and update their lineup. So next up, what do we got on tap with us? EA Access.
Just reset the top of the show. We got some new folks coming in.
And I noticed that series trophies are actually a currency.
User bar. So it's something that we decided to take away event tickets this year. So that's not a thing for us anymore. For things like ranked draft and for salary cap, they're going to be coin entry based. So no more event tickets. Sort of cut out the middleman. Just go straight with that. And so what that did was it opened up a spot for us in the top user bar to bring these series trophies as a currency versus all these collectibles that you're adding up. And what we did was we kind of paired that with some of the things that people may have saw last year in MUT 19, which was have a specific place in the store that was dedicated for that currency. So we could talk a little bit more about that towards the latter part of the stream. I'm sure we have something kind of.
Yeah, we may even have an image here. And what I did was I put like I think it was at level 6. But series trophies, here they are. You'll be able to get these as you kind of go through it. And there's actually a series progression, which we'll talk about that later in the stream.
Nice.
All right, level 7, we're going to unlock some new level solos. What's really cool about these level solos, though, is that you get these stars. And what I noticed over the weekend was I'm chasing after these stars, and it was starting to get a little frustrating because some of the conditions to get the bonus stars were either a little too challenging with my team at first, but then once I updated my team, I was good to go. So you're going to get some new level solos. Do these, get those stars. Those stars are really important to kind of get those rewards as you kind of level up and you unlock. What's next we got here? Level 8, you're going to get a gold plus player. I think this is the pack where I actually ended up getting Aaron Rodgers. Next we have level 9, which you're going to get 50 training quick sell. So quick sells are back. And then next up we have, I think, MUT level 10. And right here is kind of like you were talking about, every 5 levels you get that theme selector token, but we also have power-up passes and they're back. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, they're back. Something that was I think pretty well received last year. The one difference here was we just sort of made a giant one for the bottom end. So anything that sort of like if we have content being built a few months from now where this would make sense, we just kind of wanted a big catch-all here. So that's really the only main call out here. We're definitely super excited to get those power up passes back and bringing those back into the fold. I see a hand raised.
Pro tip. I know one area folks would lose their power up pass, so they'd pop it in and they'd forget where they put it. Then they'd have to look through to find it. So you play Ultimate Team, maybe you want to have a little scratch pad next to you, maybe make a little note of where you drop it. It'll be a lot easier to find it, and that could help you out. These aren't ones obviously not being quite as. These ones will have more range of where they could have gone, so just keep an eye on it. Little pro tip.
Something that we definitely heard the feedback on last year. There's no improvements in terms of accessibility for users at the launch of this year. It is something that we definitely have flagged though, and we've definitely heard that feedback on when I'm in there, is there a way for me to be able to kind of remember? It's definitely easy to forget where that is. So maybe something for later on in the year. Yeah,
so I know all this feedback is definitely listened to by you guys, and it's categorized, and we have to prioritize those things to kind of get those things out there. I know Superstar X Factors was a huge thing this year, and those X Factor abilities, Superstar abilities, to kind of make sure that we had it working properly in game. So I think a bulk of the focus and attention was to get that there. And we'll have a little more talk about that kind of further into the stream. So let's go ahead and talk up next. What do we have right here? So I'm at hit level 10, and of course the squads, the unlock goes away. At level 11, this is, I don't know if Farrell's going to sign in for a pro tip right here, because I missed this one. So we'll go back to this other image real quick here, Farrell. So on this one at MUT level 11, one thing that you guys want to make sure is that when you're going through this progression and you get into the stores, make sure you pay attention for those exclusive offers. Some of them you can get with coins, some of them are with points. But this is just something that you really need to pay attention to. I kind of skipped right over this until I got to level 16. Just something to really, I felt like I needed to call out on stream so that people don't, lose this opportunity to kind of upgrade their team and get better player items. Next up, right here at MUT level 11. Now, one thing I do want to highlight again, a lot of stuff was captured. A lot of conversation is going on with the team to figure out where's the proper placement where we unlock things in the various MUT levels. So you may see MUT level here 11, but on 725 may not be there. So we're trying to work through all those details. I know Jake's team is working through it, but we're going to talk about team captains. So you're going to unlock a team captain. You're going to be able to choose one of four that you're going to start at the beginning of the game. Do you want to talk a little bit about team captains? I had the players written down here, but we have one that we were able to showcase with his ratings. The other three were actually still being worked on when we started the stream.
Yeah, so bringing those team captains back again, that's something that we found a lot of success with last year. Players really enjoyed these, loved the ability to have that choice there with who you wanted to elect as that captain. So it'll be very similar to last year, where the initial upgrade for these players will be through training, and then as some of these bigger beats come throughout the year, there'll be other opportunities to get captain tokens to continue upgrading that specific player as the year goes on. So yeah, you mentioned that we have 4 guys. We have one of them captured for you here. So Herman Moore, one of the captains. The other 3, excuse me, Dallas Clark, Ty Law, and Ryan Shazier. So Shazier is back in Ultimate Team this year, and we're definitely pumped to bring him back in here and continue to want to have him in sort of this place where players felt like they could just go play and earn him and build him up. So definitely pumped for that. The one thing that we were talking a little bit before the stream that we wanted to call out was, when it comes to the captains last year, when it was towards, I think it was around the December time period, I might be a little bit off, but we went ahead and we started to make other versions of like Jerry Rice or, Ray Lewis. So, because you can only have one of them on your team, we wanted to still like, okay, well, if you wanted that one, we're going to have other versions that are not going to be as good as the captains, but, I just want Jerry Rice on my team. Yeah. I want to have an opportunity. And so we felt like that was the way to deliver that. I feel like it makes sense for us to sort of announce right now that we will not be treating Ryan Shazier that way. So in terms of playing with Shazier in Ultimate Team in Madden 20, it will only be through team captains. So the other 3, I do think we'll see probably a similar execution where you see those players getting new versions of themselves later in the year. But just want to call that out now. We're not going to do that with Shazier.
That's cool. So I think for those players out there, that are kind of getting that team captain, choose wisely. Kind of think through who you want to go ahead and pick. I ended up picking Ty Law because I needed some corners, but if I would have known that